Hi everyone, thank you very much for coming to this conference, the CyberStarters Conference 2023, and thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me to this conference to speak to you all. I believe I must have been introduced. My name is Jonathan, and I'm doing my master's in cybersecurity under the UK government funded scholarship, Chevron scholarship, and I've been asked briefly to talk about Sabificate or certificate, like the intersection between the both of them, which is more important, or if they are even very any important in relation to your cybersecurity journey. So I got interested. I got into cybersecurity. I started getting interested in cybersecurity right from my undergraduate days. I think was about in 100 or 200 level. I learned about cybersecurity. Since I did computer science, my undergraduate, I had a computer science, so I had interest in anything computer science or related. So I was able to try to get knowledge. I started researching. Okay, what's this is cybersecurity, and then during those periods, I think there was a lot of international international news on fraud coming from Nigeria, and it really put Nigeria in a bad light. So that really got me interested in what this is really not a very good thing. This is really bad, and we need to find a solution to this thing, and try to stop this thing in any way that we can. So I just started researching into cybersecurity, what is cybersecurity, and how I can get started and all of that. So in my final year, I did something related to security, although not necessarily in depth in cybersecurity, but security of knowledge engineering products, knowledge expert systems. So that was what I worked on. So that was where my interest in cybersecurity now skyrocketed. So I started looking for communities to join, looking for ways to sort of develop myself, signing up for courses and all of that. So I joined a couple of communities then. The CISHAN, Cybersecurity Expert Association of Nigeria. I also joined the CyberSafe Foundation as a volunteer. So that was when that was how I started in the cybersecurity space. So I know also I didn't feel I took some courses, online courses on YouTube, on the free websites, Udemy, TCM Security. So I started watching videos relating to cybersecurity and started getting knowledge, developing myself basically in this area of cybersecurity. And I up to now, I continually to upskill myself, find the pathways that which I wanted to focus on in cybersecurity, get advice from mentors, get advice from people who are already leading in the industry, some of which are even speaking today, which is a very privileged opportunity to speak on the same conference with them. So this was how I got into cybersecurity, and then I said let me further my education and do my masters. I wanted to focus more, do my masters in cybersecurity, and I applied for the Chevron scholarship, which is funded, and fortunately I got it, and doing my master's in cybersecurity in the UK, which has opened a very very great doors of opportunities, and it has been really an amazing time studying masters in cybersecurity. Now, so that is my a brief summary of my journey, how I got into cybersecurity up until now. And as you must have heard, I didn't fail to sort of keep developing myself, and I keep improving myself, even though formal education is also necessary to also because before I even continue, I need to say if you are still in school, it's very important for you to strive to get good grades, because there's a lot of ideas flowing around social media now that school na scam. But I must tell you, school is not scam, and it's very very important. Not because I'm doing my masters, you can say because I'm doing a masters I can say school is scam. I've seen people who do a masters and they regret doing the masters, but I'm really enjoying my time, and I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm really enjoying it. But if you're still in your undergraduate, strive to get good grades, because it really opens doors of opportunities for you. There are places you cannot access without having a degree, without having good grades. Just by having good grades, you get access to some forms of opportunity, even in the cybersecurity space. So you might say, oh, maybe it's skills that is needed for the job. Yes, you need to have the skills, you need to have the knowledge, you need to know what you're doing, and that is very, very important. But it's also important to find a blend, get good grades, but don't relax and say you already have good grades, you are just going to rest because maybe you graduated with a first class, and you think that is going to be enough to get you a good job in cybersecurity space. It's very even though there are very availability of jobs, but they are not, there are very many availability of many jobs available, but there are not enough skilled people. So that is, people are looking for uh, expert, people are looking for professionals who are skilled in different aspects of cybersecurity. So in as much as, but having good grades can get you in the door, so your skills can now get you the job, because sometimes you might not necessarily have the uh you might not necessarily have the good grades, but you might not be able to get into, at least get into the job, or depending on the area you want to focus on. So having good grades is very, very important. And if you have already like graduated from your undergraduates, and you are looking at probably you might not have like opportunity again to change, like to go back in time and now have good grades, you still have like, there's still very opportunity for you to sort of like advance yourself. So that is when you now need to take skills very seriously, skills and certifications very seriously. These days there's a lot of certifications, so I'm a bit diced in certifications, in as much as I also took some certifications and did I'm like also encourage people to take some certifications. But certifications is, you can just pass it, it's easy to pass. Well, I wouldn't say easy to pass, but you can read to pass it without necessarily knowing the nitty-gritty of what you're being doing. There's a difference between passing an exam and understanding the concept that is being being asked in the exam. So you can just read something to pass without understanding it. That is why you need to also know, like, get hands-on skills, practice, get knowledge, try to develop yourself, take courses, because it's in as much as you need to also like keep upgrading yourself, because cybersecurity is very, very dynamic. There are some things that were relevant last year, like every year some people release threat reports, and there are things that are very relevant in the year. There are different threat reports that has been released for this year, and some of the things that are on this year's list of threat reports are not what was there last year. So it's a very dynamic field, it keeps changing. So if you say, oh, you're just going to relax on your asses, and you're going to sit on your asses and not upgrade yourself, not improve yourself, you're going to be sitting on a time bomb and you're going to be left behind. So get skills, get a good grades. If you're still in school, try to get a good grades, because that can get you in the door, like I said, of many opportunities. And also, you don't need to, there's a misconception of, you don't need to have studied anything related to cybersecurity or computer science to get into cybersecurity. That is also, you, even if you have interest in cybersecurity and you're not currently doing anything related to computer science or to cybersecurity or to tech in general, but still try to have good grades, because it's easier to convince whoever is going to train you that you have transferable skills. You can demonstrate that you can excel in other aspects such as cybersecurity if you're coming from a non-tech field, and you can bring those transferable skills from things that you have learned. So it's easier to convince somebody that, oh, you did well in your non-technical field, you also are likely to do well in this field. Because if you don't have good grades, and you might say, oh, there are some excuses that there are some things that did not allow you to get good grades and all of that, but it's also very necessary, because having good grades can get you in the door of very, very many opportunities. For example, now there's a lot of scholarships if you want to further your education, or you want to go abroad to do your master's, or to do your PhD, or even to do your undergraduate. Having good grades can get you in the door of some of these things, some of these opportunities, some of these scholarship programs, even fellowships. There are some fellowships, cybersecurity focused fellowship, because these days there's a lot of there are opportunities in cybersecurity spaces, both in the academic and in the professional field. So to be able to access some of these things, you even need to have, like, there's a minimum benchmark of academic qualification that you need to have. Even some job opportunities, there's a minimum benchmark for you to have. But you now need to understand where you want to focus. Do you want to be academic? Because studying does not necessarily mean that you're going to be academic. It just means that, okay, you can improve on your knowledge, you can get wide access to opportunities, you can get wide access to resources, to people, to international connections, networks, the kind of people that it would allow you to meet, the kind of places that you can work, the kind of access that it can give you. So these are some of the things that which, getting having a good blend of skills and certificates can give you access to. Even so, if you want to do your masters, if you want to do your PhD, you need to be sound. Maybe not necessarily like, well, I don't want to use the word like an A student, not necessarily an A student, but you need to be you need to have like a baseline of you need to have like a baseline. Not necessarily, it doesn't mean that you have to be the best student in all. No, that is a big misconception that people have about getting cybersecurity, that you need to have like a good grades or you need to study something related to tech. As long as you can demonstrate that you are able to you have done something related, or you have done something and you have been able to succeed in that your field, you can also demonstrate that you can bring that. Since you have been able to succeed in this, you can also succeed in what you are going into, which is probably your further academic studies that you want to do. And also, keep developing yourself, taking courses, online courses. There are some very, very good online courses and there's another thing that you must know, that you don't want to, because there's a lot of courses online, there's a lot of cybersecurity courses, and it can get confusing, it can get very overwhelming, it can get very, 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 very disheartening. Like, you don't even know where to start because there's a lot of information. I used to tell people, like, the abundance of information leads to analysis paralysis. When you have too much of information at your disposal, you don't even know where to start from. So don't expose yourself to too much of information while you are starting, because it can leave you confused at the end. Know where you want to focus on, and I know that is easier said than done, because as a beginner you don't know where you want to focus on cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is very wide. There's the risk management, GRC, which is the GRC, the penetration testing, which is the hands-on. There's the policy, there's the analyst, there's the SOC, threat intelligence. There are different aspects of cybersecurity. So as a beginner, you might not know where to start from. That is why it's also good to sign up to some of these programs. So to develop your self skills, there is the Cyber Girls program. If you are a female interested in cybersecurity, you can check it out. There's the Cyber Girls program, which I think it will give you opportunity to be able to understand some of this aspect of cybersecurity, and now give you concrete skills and knowledge in that field. There are other programs. Also, I think there is the CyberSec Heaven, something like that. There are different, there are different coaching programs or online programs that can help you tailor your interest in cybersecurity, because you don't want to just, you want to develop yourself and just be taking any random courses that come your way. Oh, penetration testing today. Oh, this tomorrow. Even though it's good to have like background knowledge of some of these concepts, but you now need to know where you want to focus on, because too much of knowledge, too much of information, you would not be very good. Will not be very good for you as starting in cybersecurity. So you need to like find a way to. That's also good in having a mentor, or having like someone that you look up to. It doesn't have to be like a personal interaction of a mentor. Maybe somebody that puts up resources for beginners online. There are many people online that you can follow, like Mrs. Ireti on Twitter. I think Ireti, Confidence Stevely, CC on. So these are people. There are other people. These are the ones that just came to my head right now. There are other people that you can follow online that gives like niche cybersecurity informations and how you can progress in your journey. So you need to know where to start from, what you want to focus on, and try not to consume too much of information at a go. And also practice. So that's another very important thing. Practice. It can just be about maybe setting up your lab, setting up a Kali Linux on your system, trying what you see, and trying what you are learning if you are in a structured learning environment. And the thing is, some of these structured learnings help you to, some of these boot camps or programs provide like kind of structured learning for you. So like, this is where you start from, this is the next phase that you're supposed to, this is the next thing you're supposed to learn, this is the next thing you're supposed to learn, this is the next thing that you're supposed to learn. So that is what some of these boot camps and some of these programs help you. It help you in structured learning, because that is why education is very, very important. Because if you are just doing all of this on your own, it can get very overwhelming. I mean, I've experienced it can get very overwhelming, it can get very confusing. You don't know where next to do, you don't know what next to learn, or just too many information that you don't know what to do with. So that is why you need to also keep looking for how you can get structured learning in a learning environment. Take courses that have like learning parts. There are some courses online that have like learning parts. And also, if you getting certificates is also important, but knowing that if you are getting a certificate, you have to, it's not just about getting a certificate and posting it online like, oh, you just got a certificate. Do you really know the onion of getting a certificate, or you just ready to pass it? That's another thing. Do you really know? So that is what you can get. It's good to have the certificate, but it's much more important to know what you are doing, what is being assessed by the certificate. It's not just about reading to pass the exams. Another thing is volunteering. Try to volunteer for organizations, even though you might not get paid as a beginner. Try to volunteer, or volunteer for NGOs, or maybe to do different things, and post your work online. So these are things that which can help you in your cybersecurity journey, even combining it with the skills Sabificate and your certificate academic journey. I mentioned a couple of things. Make sure you get good grades if you are still in the school. If you are still studying, try to get good grades, and also upskill yourself, because cybersecurity is very dynamic. You need to keep upskilling yourself, find ways by which you can get structured learning environment, because in the next couple of years, cybersecurity will change entirely. Now there's different machine learning algorithms used in cybersecurity. How can machine learning be implemented in cybersecurity to do some things? So these are so that's why you need to keep get this knowledge, and some ways why you can get them is going to having education, either formal or informal education. So having a good blend of Sabificate and certificate, I think it will aid you. It will ease your cybersecurity journey. So this is what I have for you all today. I believe you have been able to get one or two things, and I appreciate being able to talk to you all, and I'll see you later. Thank you.